Namaskaram to all the devotees. My name is Narāyaṇeeyam and I'm one of the devotees of Vedas also. And we know Brahmashri Venkateswara roughly 30 years and we want to invite all of you to today's pravachan on Narayayam, and this will be by Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathi. I want to invite him to the stage. Okay. We want to invite give a big hand to he's a true engineer like Bhagavatha, and he's a national kind of business. And I'm going to give a brief profile about him. Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathi is an academician and researcher on quality management based on workplace spirituality. Along with his professional career, as a mindset architect and empowerment coach, he has been spearheading the spiritual beacon in India and abroad across diverse audience with his lectures, discourses, and writing classes. He is also a having composed Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathi engineering, post-graduation in management from PA5 Management Institute, Manipur. He has secured his PhD in quality management based on spirituality contained in the Bhagavad Gita. Having been a corporate citizen and industrialist entrepreneur with leading corporates like Godrej, ITW Signode Limited, Hallmark, Protective and Decorative Coating, he has served as Registrar of SagesVälmiki University, Principal of Indian Academy Degree College, and Chief Operating Officer of Indian Academy Group of Institutions, Bangalore, since last 32 years. He is now serving as the Director of National School of Business, Bangalore. Alongside his academic and professional pursuits, he has been his profound interest in learning and spiritual hymns and classics like Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatha, etc. Dr. Srinidhi has delivered over 2,500 invited lectures and discourses and has done over 800 television shows in English and Kannada across various topics: basic management, value education, yoga and spirituality. He handles sessions on operations management, Indian ethos and business management and entrepreneurship for MBA students. He has contributed around 20 articles to spiritual magazines, newspapers and offices and has authored for its contribution to the field of management and spirituality. He has been conferred doctorate degree by Vyãsa University, the prestigious Rheumatic Arthritis Award to the field of 2019 for sustaining contribution to the field of spirituality and management. He has also been conferred a title Vedãs for his contribution to spirituality. Today, Dr. Parthasarathi will be giving a discourse on Narayayam composed by Narayana Bhattathiri. Please welcome Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathi. Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathi will begin his discourse with his daughter singing the invocation.
Thank you so much, Narayan, for a beautiful introduction, and thank you to all of you present here to experience the divinity. We enter the song Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam to remember Satyanarayan's auspicious temple. Present here to experience the divinity. We enter the song Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam.
Sannidhattam Sadakriti Gnananandamayam Devam Nirmalas Bhatikakritam Adharam Sarvavidyaham Hayagrivamupaasmahe Janmadhyasandabhyam Namaha Om Hanumate Namaha Satchidanandarupaya Vishwotpatyaadhihetave Tapatraya Vinashaya Shri Krishnaya Vayam Namaha Yam Prabrajandamanupetamapetagrityam Pripayano Virahakadara Ajuhava Putreti Tanmayataya Taravo Bhinetuhu Tam Sarvabhuta Hridayam Munim Anatosmi. The infinite Lord of all, out of his infinite compassion, descends with a single-minded purpose, that is, the upliftment of humanity. The infinite finitizes himself to make we finite as infinite. That is the purpose of the Lord's descent. It's a beautiful evening, Sunday evening. We have all gathered here to experience that nectar of Srimad Bhägavatam in the form of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam, composed by Sri Narayana Bhattathiri 400 years back. What happened to Narayana Bhattathiri 400 years back can happen to all of us if we give ourselves to the Lord. The Lord, in the Bhagavad Gita, so mercifully says, Chaturvida bhajante mam janaha sukritunorjuna arto jignasurartharthi gnani cha bharatarshita. He says 4 types of people come to me. And people can come to me only if they have got a sukruta. That means they have done one good deed. Out of crores and crores and crores of people whom he has sowed on this earth, because he says, Aham bija pradapita, mamayodir mahadbrahma aham bija pradapita. He says, I am like a farmer who sows the seed in the field. Out of many seeds which I have sowed, like how a farmer seeds lakhs of seeds, out of which lakhs of them go away because insects eat them off. Some thousands of them would germinate. Some of them would become a plant, out of which few of them become trees, out of which very few of them give flowers. Some of them give fruits, and those fruits are experienced by very, very few of them. In the same way, every soul is like a seed. There are crores and crores and crores of people who have been sowed by the Lord, out of which many of them go the worldly path. Some of them try to come towards spirituality. Out of them, a few do their sadhana and then try to rise in life towards self-actualization. Out of them, few of them come into God realization. That is, Chaturvida Bhajantyemam Janaha Sukrutinorthuna. One good deed we have done in the past brings us to the Veda temple today. One good deed which we have done in the past would give us an opportunity to listen to Srimad Bhägavatha. In the Padma Puranam, which gives the Bhägavatha Mahatmya, it says that as soon as we do a sankalpam, as soon as we decide, not even listen to Srimad Bhägavatha, if we decide to come to a discourse concerned to Srimad Bhägavatha, the Lord occupies all our hearts because He wants to listen to His story. It says, Srimad Bhägavatha Achyuta Pishordi Krishna Leela, the Padma Purana says. A person who wants to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam, the Lord, Hrityantastohya Bhadrani, Vidunoti Suhrit Sadham. The Lord occupies all our hearts, comes along with us to Melpattur and listens to His story. Hrityantasto, He sits in the heart. Hrityantasto, because in the 15th verse of the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, He says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishta mattaskrutihi gnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvaihi ahameva vedyaha vedantakrit veda videha chaham. I am there in everybody's heart. It is for you to manifest me inside your heart. He comes and sits in all our hearts to listen to this 120 minutes of Srimad Bhagavata's condensed version, that is Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam. And what does He want in return? He says, Vidunoti Surut Sadham. He comes as a Surut. Who is a Surut? The definition in Sanskrit is Pratyupakaram Anapekshya Hitakari Suhrit. He does not want anything in return from us. The God has got a parallel connection with each soul. That is, the love which a mother gives to the child. Infinite times, exponential more, the God gives to each and every soul. So, without expecting anything in return, He comes and sits in our heart to listen to His story. Let us welcome that Krishna who is there in all our hearts today. And a very hearty welcome to all of you who are giving the fortune to this soul to experience Krishna in all your hearts. And may that Krishna takes this discourse. May He, like how He played the flute, I pray that He should play through this body so that this gets empty, and let Him play the melody what He plays in the flute. There are three important things before we start any grantham, before we start any discourse. One is the Kartruvailakshanya, that is the introduction of the person who has composed it. One is the Vishaya Vailakshanya, what is contained in the epic, and the Grantha Vailakshanya, the importance of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam. We will shortly see these three aspects and then take the discourse forward. 1036 verses. The Kartru Vailakshanya, Narayana Bhattathiri. Who was Narayana Bhattathiri? When was he? 400 years back. See, the God, he descends, as we saw, he descends to uplift mankind. He makes three attempts. First, he descends. After the Dwapara Yuga, after the Krishna Avatara got completed in the Kali Yuga, what he does is, up to the Dwapara Yuga, everybody understood Sanskrit. But in the Kali Yuga, we are all convent educated. We take English as our language, and seldom people go to learn Sanskrit. So, Vedas are in Sanskrit. The second attempt what he did was to bestow Vedas onto us. Sakshan Narayano Devaha Kritva Madhyamayim Tanum Magnan Uddharate Lokan Karunya Shastra Padina. Out of infinite compassion, out of infinite karuna, he gave Vedas to all of us, to mankind. Veda is a manual, like how when a computer is manufactured, when a mobile phone is manufactured, it comes with a user manual. Like that, when we are manufactured, when a soul is given a body and sent to earth, there is Veda as a manual which we are supposed to learn, and Vedaha Nityam Athiyatam Taduditam Karma Swanushtiyatam. This is what Adi Shankara Bhagavatpada says. First understand the Vedas, read the Vedas, and bring it into your Anushthana. Such a person is called Vedika. But with the advent of Kali, many people go towards Veda after, of course, all of us have converged towards Veda temple. But the Veda, we start converging after the age of 60. I'm very happy to see youngsters here. In India, we seldom get them. Because after 60, we try to go towards Veda. Then they will say, I have not understood the Samasa, I have not understood the Sandhi, how I do not know the meaning, did this really exist? So many questions are there. The second attempt, what God made, was to give us our user manual. If we go, see, generally what we do is, the user manual is in the box itself. And when we change the mobile phone, along with the box, it goes back. Seldom do we kick it out. But when we look at cultures far east, maybe China or Japan, first thing what they do is to take out the user manual before even taking out the mobile phone. Mark out what are the important aspects in that, and then start using the mobile phone. Vedas are like that, and Sanskrit we have mostly lost because we have not learnt it. Maybe after our 10th, after our 12th, we have not learnt. So what did God do as the third attempt to uplift mankind? He incarnated himself. Matsya Kurma Varaha Namo Namah Simhavahama Rama Namo Namah Rama Rama Shri Krishna Namo Namah Kalki Rupa. The 10 avatars, Avataraha Sankhya is what is told in the Srimad Bhägavatha, but 10 are taken as important avatars, where what is told in the Vedas, he practiced it himself, and then in the Rama Avatara, he practiced it himself, and in the Krishna Avatara, he preached what he practiced in Rama Avatara. Out of all these avatars, there are two Purana avatars. One is the Purana Manushya Avatara, and Narayana Bhatt, the Narayayam calls it Purana Punyavatara, that is Krishna Avatara. In the 37th Dashakam of the Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam is the Krishna Avatara. Purana Punyavataram, he says. An Acharya has to first practice what he preaches. So God has shown that in Rama Avatara he practiced, and in the Krishna Avatara he preached. In the Krishna Avatara he says, Sukha dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo. He says, Arjuna says it's very easy to preach Krishna, but very difficult to practice. He said in Rama Avatara, I have practiced it because the previous day there was a promotion letter from Dasharatha saying that you will be made the CMD of Ayodhya. You will be made the chairman managing director. You will be coronated as the Yuvaraja. The next morning there's a pink slip. The next morning, Kaikeyi says, your father said that you will have Navamanchachavashti Dandakaratyavasi. Now, 9 plus 5, 14 years you will have to go to the forest. At that point in time, the Kampa Ramayana says to Kambana Talvan in Tamil Ramayana, it says, you were beautifully praising the face of Rama. Chandrakanta, Valmiki Ramayana beautifully talks about Rama's face, Chandrakantananam Ramam, Diva Priyadarshana, Rupa Udarya Gunaihi Pumsam, Drishti Chittapaharinam, he says. He was beautiful. Chandrakantananam Rama. Rama was like a full moon. Why was Rama like a full moon? Of course, this is not a Ramayana discourse. The second verse of Valmiki Ramayana, it talks about 16 qualities of Rama. 16 qualities of Rama. It talks about Gunavan, Viryavan, Dharmajnaha, Kritajnaha, Satyavakyaha, Dridamvritaha, Charityena Chomo Yuktaha, Sarvabhuteshu Kohitaha, Vidvankaha, Samarthascha, Kasi Priyadarshanaha, Atmavankaha, Chitakrodaha, Dhyudimankaha, Anasuyakaha, Kascha Vidyati Devascha, Jataroshasya Samyuge, Yetat Ichhamyaham Shlotam Paramto Utpadam Hime. This is what Valmiki asked Narada. 16 qualities in one paksha, from the waning moon to the vexing moon, or from the vexing moon to the waning moon, from in the Krishna paksha or the Shukla paksha, there are 16 days. The moon takes 16 days from it to go from the new moon to the full moon. It is said, like how the 16 phases of the moon takes you to the fullness of the moon. In that way, the 16 qualities of Rama, if we reinforce within us every day, then we don't become Vayovriddhas, we become Gnanavriddhas. One thing is, man ages physically. An animal ages physically. But a man without sadhana, without reiterating and reinforcing the gunas of the God, he will only age physically. But it is the duty of a man to ripen psychologically, to awaken intellectually, to rise spiritually, and meaningfully age in knowledge and wisdom, and not just age like an animal. That is why the definition of management, when I go to the class, the textbooks of management give various definitions of management, planning, organizing, staffing. We all have read it in our thing. But when we look at the definition of a particular word, the word itself gives its meaning. Man age is aging of a man. Man age is aging of a man. And how does a man age? He rises in wisdom. So 16 days, if you take these 16 qualities of Rama. Second time, 16 days in 1 month, 2 times we would have taken in the qualities of Rama. Then in 1 year, 24 times we would have taken the qualities of Rama. Because in a month twice, in a year 24 times. If we live 80 years, 24 into 80 times, we rise in wisdom. That is what is aging of a man. That is why he was called Chandrakantananam Brahmam Adiva Priyadarshana. That is why he was called Ramachandra. like a full moon, Ramachandra. So Kambanattalvan was asked, when he was given the pink slip by Kaikeyi, how was his face? He said, Appo nalandu thamarayai vendradanna. In Tamil it is said, just then, a lotus which blossoms, Rama's face defeated that lotus which had just then blossomed. Because Sukha-dukhe same kritva labha jaya. That is what is in our life. The third effort what the Lord made was first to incarnate and then brought down Valmiki, Vyasa. He did the Anushtan of what he told in the Vedas and told Valmiki Veda Vyasa to write about that particular incarnation, his Anushtana, in the form of stories, so that when we do not understand the Vedas in Sanskrit language, we would be able to understand in stories. That is why in modern teaching methodology and pedagogy, storytelling is a very important pedagogy which faculty and professors use. Storytelling. Through stories, how do we bring out the facets of life or upliftment of man? So Valmiki wrote the Ramayana and Vedavyasa, he wrote the 18 Puranas. For us to understand better, across the country of India, he brought various acharyas, alvars, sants, dasas at various states to tell the same Itihãsas or the Vedas in a language which people could understand. In Kerala, Narayana Bhatt was sent by the Lord. He was bestowed that particular birth to bring out Narayana. He says in one of the Granthas, Prakriya Sravasvam, Bhugande Keralakhe Sarita Nihanida Muttareni Banava Kshetra Gapyuti Matre Punaruparnishad Gramanam Niswadhamni Dharmishtad Bhattadantrat Akhila Bhattapathom Atrudattat Vijendrat Jato Narayanakhya Narabhattatulan Devanarayanayam. He talks about his birth. And he says, 2 miles from Tirunavai, Divya Kshetra, I was born by the grace of Lord. And then, at a very young age, he mastered the Vyakaranas. And after mastering the Vyakaranas, he started giving a lot of, composing a lot of shlokas. The very first shloka which he composed had all the vibhaktis written in it about Krishna. He says, Krishno rakshatumam charachara guruhu Krishnam namasye sada Krishne naiva surakshitoham asakriti Krishnaya dattam manaha Krishna deva samudbhavo mamabhibho Krishnasya dasosmyaham Krishne bhaktira chanchalastu bhagavan He Krishna tubhyam namaha. Looking at this prodigial talent, his father sent him to Achyuta Pishordi, who was a Vyakarana Pandita. And Achyuta Pishordi had rheumatic arthritis. And at his deathbed, he was struggling. Because it is said in the Smarta Sampradaya that when death is coming to devour us, if we recite Tarakanama, that is Ramanama, at Kashi, the Lord would come and then bless us and give us the vision. He was struggling. He was telling Narayana Bhattathiri and his students that I have to remember this Tarakanama, but I am struggling, I have to compose. Pray to Shiva, but this pain is overpowering me. He composes a shloka, a verse. He says, I am not able to tell that because prana prayana samaye kapavada pittaihi kantavarodana vidau smaranam taste. When during the last moments we do not know how we are. Because throughout the life, if we are in kama, we might be in coma. At the last, we do not know whether our mind is in our hand, whether our indriyas are working, whether we can recite anything. When we have kept so much of wealth and we have not done the proper will, then children will come and then say, only tell it to me, do not tell it to somebody else. Only tell it to me. This is what Alvars have said, I have not said. Because Alvars have said, Shorvinal Purul Vaittadu Undagil Shollu Shollannu Shuttum Irundu. And what Alvars said was also shown in the advertisement of MSEAL, in the advertisement. One son will come and say 1000. The other son will come and put one more zero after that. And then the son will be very happy that I have increased the number of zeros after one, like what Aryabhatta gave us the thing of zero. Okay, and then what happens is, when all the sons are waiting for their father to go, there will be one drop of water which falls on one. And one will go dead. And he says, if this should not happen, you should use MSEAL. This is what Alvars has told in the Vidyaprabandham, Shorvilal Vaittadu Undagil Shollu Shollannu Shuttum Irundu Arvinavilam Vaittiravade Anthakala Vadivadanundam. Do not tell anybody, tell only me. Before this comes, Marvam என்பதோர் உயிரமைத்து மாதவன் என்னும் தெய்வத்தை நாட்டி. You will have to make your heart as a temple. And then do the Prana Pratishthapana of Lord of Madhava inside. And then at the last, he will give you the darshan before you live. Because in the Bhagavatha he says, Aham smarami madbhaktam nayami paramam gatim. A devotee who has been chanting my name throughout his life, at the end, if he does not have the capacity to chant my name, I will remember him, hold his hand, Nayami Paramagatim, I will take him to Muktaram Paramagati, like what he has said in the Vishnu. I will hold his hand and take him. This is what Paraswami said. Sthite manasi suswasthe, sharire satyo naraha, dhatu samye sthite smartha, vishwarupam cha mam acham, tathastam riyamanam tu, kashtha pashana sandhipam. Kashtha. At the end, we might be under a ventilator. We might be motionless. Kashtha. Pashana, like a stone. We might be motionless. At that point in time, to a devotee, I will remember him. He need not. Puranadasa said, Narayana, ninna namada smaraniya saramrutavu enna naligega barali, kashtadallirali, utkrishtadallirali, yashtadaru madigettirali, Krishna Krishna embu sistaru biduva, ashtakshara mahamantrada namava, he says, Santata harininna sasira namava, Antarantada ಒಳಗೆ ಇರಿಸಿ ಎಂತೋ ಪುರಂದರ ವಿಠಲರ ರಾಯನ ಅಂತ್ಯಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಂತಿಸೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನಾರಾಯಣ ನಿನ್ನ ನಾಮದ ಸ್ಮರಣೆಯ ಅಂತ್ಯಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಚಿಂತಿಸೋ ಅಂತ್ಯಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಿ if we are not able to remember him, he will remember us. That is the promise he has signed on a multi-crore stamp paper to the goddess Earth when he was rescuing Earth from the clutches of Hiranyakasha. At that point in time, Mother Earth was shivering. He asked, why are you shivering? She says, Aham Shishya cha Dasi cha Bharya cha Tava Madhava. I am your wife. I am your Dasi. I am your Shishya. You rescued me. But how will you rescue my children? When Mother Earth asks, he says, if people remember me when they are hale and hearty, when all the dhatus in their body are stable, when they remember me, towards the end, if they are not able to remember me, I will remember them. This is a promise given by Lord. In the Bhagavatha he said, and in the Krishna Avatar also he says, O Krishna, I promise, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. There was no reason for Krishna to give a promise to Arjuna. Pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. I promise, O Arjuna, my bhakta, my devotee will not get destroyed. Kaunteya pratijani. And what is devotion? Here, coming back to our story, Narayana Bhattathiri, he is sent to Achyuta Pishordi, and he is on a deathbed, Achyuta Pishordi. He composes a shloka with great difficulty. He says, Kaye sidani kantharodini kaphe, Kunte cha vanipathe, Jivvayam drushi jivite, Jigamishav, Shwase shanaihi, Shamyati. The breath is going out of my body. Kaye sidati kantharodini kaphe. Kulashekara Alvar in the Mukuntamala says, Prana prayana samaye kaphavata kittaihi kantavarodana vidau smaranam kutasthe. My life is going out, I am not able to recite. At that point in time, if I recite the Taraka Nama, Shiva will come in front of me. Agatya swayameva nakarunaya katyayani kamukaha karne varnayata bhavarnava bhayat uddharakam. He tells uddharakam and he stops there. Narayana Bhattathiri completes that shloka. Uddharakam tarakam. As soon as Narayana Bhattathiri completes the shloka given by Achyuta Pishordi, before completing the shloka, he takes that rheumatic arthritis through Tantra Marga onto him. Narayana Bhattathiri takes it onto him, and when the Guru is rid of the pain, he composes this particular verse, and before he could tell the last word, the life is going out, Narayana Bhattathiri completes that particular verse, Uddharakam Dharakam. And now, rheumatic arthritis is taken on to him. Narayana Bhattathiri takes all branches of medicine. He takes allopathy, he takes homeopathy, he takes Ayurveda, he takes naturopathy. The karma is such that he has not yet gone to Lakshmipati. What we do is, when these branches of medicines don't cure us, nowadays we go to an astrologer. He goes to an astrologer, Tunjat Eduttacha, and the astrologer sees his horoscope and he says, ask him to start with the fish. His students go to the astrologer and he says, ask him to start with the fish. The students don't understand because Narayana Bhattathiri is a staunch Brahmin. He will not be able to touch fish. They come and tell him, this astrologer, I think he is a quack. He does not know anything. He tells you to go and touch a fish and start the fish. That time Narayana Bhattathiri says, I think this is the panacea. What I have been looking for. To start with the fish means I have to start from the Matsyavadharam. And this is basically the inspiration for me to get rid of this particular Vata Roga or the rheumatic arthritis. And then he says, take me time. Tunja Tirupachan says, ask him to go to Guruvayur and start with fish. He says, I cannot walk. I have rheumatic arthritis. Please take me to Guruvayur. 10 people lift him. And then take him to Guruvayur. Make him sit on to the left side of Guruvayurappa. Even today, people who have visited Guruvayur, when we go into the Sanctum Sanctorium, when we are going towards that, on the left hand side, there is one mandapam where there is a board, Narayana Bhattathiri composed Narayayam sitting here. And then he tells all the 10 students, I am going to compose this Narayayam, but I do not know how to compose this. I am not able to see Guruvayurappa because I am having rheumatic arthritis. I can't even walk till there. They are not able to allow me to come till there. So at that particular point in time, I do not know. He has to give me the darshan. And when he gives me the darshan, then only I will be able to write Narayayam. At that particular point in time, Narayana Bhattathiri wants to start. What is Narayayam? Starting from the fish, Narayana Bhattathiri understood that he has to write the condensed form of Srimad Bhägavatha. Srimad Bhägavatha is basically, it originated from Sri Veda Vyãsa. Vedas were divided into four by Vyasa, Krishna Leela. That is why he was called Veda Vyãsa, one who branched out the Vedas. The Vedas was a very big tree, and nobody was coming towards it. Then Vyasa said, let me branch them out so that people can learn it in their lifetime. So he branched it out into four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharvana Vedas. Today, if we have learned the Yajur Veda or the Rig Veda, it takes 12 years completely if we have to learn for 20 days a month. This soul's guru, who taught the entire Krishna Yajur Veda to this soul, took 12 years fully, 20 days a month was the classes. And then it takes, because that is in a lifetime you have to learn. When he branched out the four Vedas, still people did not come towards the tree. It did not bear flowers. Then he said, I have to call for an agriculturist or a doctor who knows horticulture. Then who was this doctor? Narada was going. He asked Narada, this tree has not borne fruit, that's why people have not come towards it. Vedas is a tree. People come towards a tree only if there are fruits in that. So Narada said that people will come only if there are fruits. And you are not looking happy. Just now you have composed the Mahabharata also. You are not looking very happy. He said, I composed the Mahabharata with 1,25,000 shlokas and people are not even reading it, except for maybe the Bhagavad Gita, maybe the Vishnu Sahasranam. SagesVälmiki, nobody even reads because Dhritarashtra gave that, he was blind. Vishnu Sahasranam, lot of people, they would read every day. Bhagavad Gita, some people would read all the 18 chapters, 700 shlokas. So he said, in this age of Kali, you will have to compose something which people can easily read. So at that point in time, he says, if this Veda tree has to give the fruits, then you will have to put a canal for water to come in. The canal is the bhakti. Mahabharata had politics, it had sociology, it had everything, but the bhakti does not come out there. So you will have to bring out bhakti, and you will have to have Bhagavan Nama in that, the Nama, the sacred name of God. If these two are there, then people will come. So at that point in time, Veda Vyasa brought out Dakki Canal, which is Bhakti, and poured water, which is Bhagavan Nama, and composed 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. That 18,000 verses were like the fruits in the tree of the Veda. Nigama kalpataror gaditam phalam shuka mukhat amrutadrava samyutam. Now in the olden days, whether a fruit is ripe or not, how do people find out? They found out when a parrot would come and then peck that. Parrot would come and peck. Which was the parrot? Shuka Brahmarshi was the parrot. So Shuka came and pecked each of this. Veda Vyasa's son was Shuka. It pecked each of these fruits. And the parrots today would peck and remove half the juice and give us only half the juice in that particular fruit. But Shuka Brahmarshi, it injected a new juice into that fruit called Vairagya. Bhāgavatha. Bhāgavatha are 4 letters. stands for bhakti, Ga stands for jnana, Va stands for vairagya, Ta stands for tyaga. That is tyaga. Through Srimad Bhägavatha, through Narayayam, the outcome is these four qualities which we have to develop. The bhakti, today we have bhakti on lot of ephemeral things, on worldly things. That has to be replaced by bhakti on the Lord. Jnana, we have jnana on 55 lakh qualifications. One thing is, very passionately, Sri Krishna Sri Nagaraj Miti ji spoke about the soul. To top of that, the cherry on that is, I would be very happy to be called a Krishna Bhatta, because Krishna has to give the title. So many colleges and universities can give us degrees, but Krishna has to give one title saying that you are my Bhatta. Jnana, we can study so many things. We can be a lifelong learner, but what has to be learned? That is the qualities and traits of the God. The relationship between us and the Lord. What is our nature? What is God's nature? And what is the path which we take to reach Him? That is the jnana which we should get. Vairagya is, one thing is, vairagya is detached attachment. What Bhagavad says. Through our karma we get a lot of wealth. Should we not enjoy this wealth? Nowhere it is said you should not enjoy it. Nowhere it is said you leave all these things and go away to Himalayas. It says, enjoy that wealth, but don't get attached to it. It is called detached attachment in Bhagavad Gita, karma sannyasa yoga. That is what is told. Do the job, but with detachment. You be attached to it. Move on. That is what is important. That is the vairagya which he taught, and then the tyaga, giving ourselves to the Lord. These are the four things. So when Shuka Brahma Rishi came, it pegged each and every of the 18,000 fruits, injected the vairagya juice. And then 18,000 fruits. Who is going to read Srimad Bhagavatam 18,000 shlokas today? We need to spend 6 hours every day if we have to do a saptaha of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Lord called Narayana Bhattathiri. He said, let all those 18,000 fruits, put them in a mixer, make them a juice, and contain them in 100 bottles. The 100 bottles is that 100 chapters of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam. And today, if mother makes a juice at the house, the child would say, Amma, that juice is not good. Something what we buy in the shop is much more tastier because there is some flavor in that. Then Narayana Bhattathiri says, I have contained them in 100 bottles. Now, people would take it only when there is a flavor in that. Because even if we go to one of the supermarkets here, it will say less fat, more fat, orange. Then Krishna says, don't worry, I will be present in each and every bottle. I will be present in each and every chapter, and I will be the essence. The presence of Guru Ayappa is the essence of Narayayam. We need to understand. He is present in each and every chapter, each and every word of Narayayam. The first to the third chapter of Narayayam talks about the first skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam. The fourth to seventh chapter of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam talks about the second skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam. The 8th to 15th chapter of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam talks about the third skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam. The 16th to 19th chapter of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam talks about the fourth skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam. 20th and 21st shloka or chapters of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam talks about the fifth skanda, the Dhruva Charitra, the beautiful Dhruva Charitra. Then the 22nd and 23rd chapters of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam talks about the sixth skanda of Srimad Bhāgavatha. The 24th and 25th chapter talk about the seventh skanda of Srimad Bhāgavatha, which is the Narasimha Avtara, which is the Prahlad Charitra. We will try to experience that today in this short time. 26th to the 32nd chapters of Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam represents the 8th skanda of Srimad Bhägavatha. 33rd to the 36th chapter of Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam talks about the 9th skanda of Srimad Bhägavatha. The 37th to the 89th chapter of Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam talks about the Dashama skanda, the Krishna Avtara. The 90th to 97th chapters of Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam talks about the 11th skanda of Srimad Bhägavatha, and the 98th to 100th chapter of Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam talks about the 12th skanda. Here, Markandeya Charitra is beautifully told in the Sriman Nārayaṇ. So, now, why did Krishna say, contain me in 100 bottles, 100 chapters, 1036 shlokas? Because it is very easy for people to recite over 4 to 5 hours or maximum 6 hours. People can recite Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam in a day. And today also, people during Ekadasi keep this as a Nitya Parayanam during Ekadasi, Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam. In between 4 to 6 hours, depending upon the speed in which you can recite the entire Nārayaṇeeyam, and it is equal to reciting the entire Bhāgavata. Very importantly, Srimad Bhāgavata was told by the prince among sages, that is Shuka Brahmarshi, to the sage among princes, that is Parikshit, on the Ganga Tira. But Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam has got one great distinction. It was told to Krishna himself. Narayana Bhattathiri sat in front of Krishna and it was sung in front of Krishna. So the devotion, and second important thing, Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam brings out the entire nectar of Krishna's traits, his charitra, and also it brings out the Bhagavan Nama at plenty. Because in the Kali Yuga, there is one path, that is Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarvapapa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkhashmanam Tarnamam Param. Very importantly now, Kalau Nastyeva 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 Gatirmyata Harir Namaiva 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 Mama Jivan. Because when we are talking of Krita Yuga, people had to perform yajnas or dhyana. Dhyana wo Kali Yuga hi. Yajana Yajana wo Treta Yuga hi. It is said in the Treta Yuga you will have to do yajna, yajana, yajana. There are a lot of rules for it. In the Dwapara Yuga you had to do japa, tapa. If we sit for japa, what is going to happen? Our mind will start going helter-skelter. The monkey mind will start going helter-skelter. That is why in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiramasana atmanaha napyuchritam natinicham chelajana pushottaram Shuchau deshe. You will have to sit in a place where your sense organs do not experience the sense objects. It's very difficult. But in Kali Yuga, the same outcome, the same destination would be got just through Namasankirtana. In the Nārayaṇeeyam, Narayana Bhattathiri says, Shvetachayam kritetvam munivarapusham pridayante tapobihi tretayam sritsrivadyam tika arunatanam yajnarupam bhajante sevante tatramardihi vilasat arikadam dvapare shamalangam neelam sankirtanadjihi ihatari samaye manusham tvam prapadye. This is a beautiful verse from the Srimad Nārayaṇeeyam, where it says Shvetachaya kritetvam munivarapusham prinayante tapobihi. When it was very difficult to get you, O Guruvayurappa, in the Krita Yuga, in Treta Yuga, and Dwapara Yuga, it is very easy to get you in the Kali Yuga, because one nama, you will come and stand in front of the devotees. When Narada says, O Lord, where are you? He says, Naham vasami vaikunthe, nayogi hridaye ravo, madbhaktaha yatra gayanti, tatra tishtami narada. Naham vasami Vaikunthe, I am not in Vaikuntha. Nayogi Hridaye Rabhu, I am not in the yogi's Hridaya. But where people sing my glory, Madbhaktaha yatra gayanti, tatra tishtami sarada. I stand there in their presence. We are all sitting and listening, experiencing Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam. Satyanarayana is standing and experiencing Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam. We need to understand. How many people go to the temple? Because, very importantly, we saw that shloka. Chaturvida Bhajanti Mam Janaha Suprati or Chaturvarnyam Maya Shrishta Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. Chaturvida Bhajanti Mam Janaha Suprati Norjuna Artho Jigna Surartharthi Gnani Ja Paradashama in Bhagavad Gita. When we saw this, some people come to me to speak out their torments. They are very, very sorrowful inside. They do not want to tell it to others. They come and cry in front of me. They are artis. Some people keep the name Arati, but they pronounce Arti, Arti, Arti. Arti means people who are troubled. That is Dukha. Arti. Jignasu, people who want self-realization. Jignasu. Artharthi, people who want wealth. These are three types of people. Fourth type is Gnani. The fourth type of a person is Gnani. Who is a Gnani? Lot of people come to me. They say, Yedu Pandalavada, Venkataramana, Govinda, Govinda, Nakutruki Pendli. వచ్చే నెలలో మా కూతురి పెళ్లి చాలా జరిపిస్తే నీకు 100 వరాలు ఇస్తాను. There is a transaction. There is a transaction between the Lord. It's not transformational. 99.99% of the people, the relationship between the Jivatma and Paramatma, or God and the self, is transactional and not transformational. We need to understand the relationship between the God and us should be transformational and not transactional. There's a fourth set of people. Some people come because they cannot tell their sorrow. Some people come because they want to get their Atma Sakshatkara. Some people come because they want money, wealth. But there's a fourth set of people who come and they say, oh Lord, 23.5 hours per day, 24/7/365, you are standing for us. Is your leg not paining? How many of us go to Tirumala? How many of us go to Tirupati and ask the Lord this? Your legs not paining because you are standing? Because there only half an hour temple is closed. Half an hour temple is closed. Again they open Kausalyas Prajarama Purvas Sandhyam Pravartate 2:30. How many people? Alvar say he goes to Kumbakonam, he goes to Sargapani temple, he says, oh Lord, you are sleeping. I am a guest who has come to your house. Don't you have manners? You should sit down and speak. Nadanda Gadigal Nandavo, Nadunganala Menama, Idungame Kudungavo. Yes, you have walked 800 miles in Ramavatara. Is your leg paining because of which you are sleeping? You lifted all of us in the Varahavatara. Is your body paining because of which you are sleeping? The Lord starts getting up. That is why Sarangapani in Kumbakonam is called Utthana Shayana. Half cut up. He says, Vadikeshane, Vadikeshane, be in that posture. Let all the devotees who come to your temple know that you listen to them when they ask for something. The fourth category of people who come to the temple are people who come for my sake, not for their sake. Who come for my sake. So, I have left Vaikuntha, I have left Kshiramdi, and I have come to their locale. I have come to their locality. They have to come for my sake because I have taken all those pains to come here. And that Gnani is very dear to me. That Gnani to Atmaiva Mevanam. And the love which I show to that Gnani, I also cannot measure that love which I show to that Gnani. Once you call him Rama, once you call him Krishna, once you call him Narasimha, once you call him Narayana, he will come coming. Karavarade is what Vyasa says. They say, Odibaraya, Vaikuntapati Ninna, Noduve Manadaniya, Nodi, Muttadi, Matadi, Santoshadi, Padi, Pogaduve, Parama Purushadi, Kendavare Polva, Padagalindaranga, Dindimi, Divi. He says, O Lord, come in front of me. That is why when we go to the temple, many people what they do is, they will be opening their eyes, driving, coming to the temple, and then when they stand in front of the Lord, when the arati is going on, either they close their eyes, or they will be searching for the dollar in their purse to put it. That is the time when we have to close our eyes all round. But when through the Jata Veda, through the Agni, the Lord is manifesting in front of us, we need to open our eyes and then look at the form of the Lord. Drink it through the eyes, fill it in the heart, and when we have some displeasing moments in our life, we will have to manifest that beautiful form which is contained in our heart. Sadayamna hridayadalli samado shikhe. Ninna naanu biduvanalla, nanna neenu bidalu salla, ganna mahima vijaya vithala, ninna bhaktara kelo salla sadayamna hridayadalli, jnanavembo navaratnadi, mandapada madhyadolage. That is in our heart. So that nama, that Rama nama, Krishna nama, Shiva nama, whatever nama we say, if we go on saying at the end, that nama will come to us when we are struggling, if at all we are struggling. When we sneeze, when we yawn, if we say Rama, if we say Krishna, Rama Krishna nama will come at the end. If we go on saying excuse me, excuse me, excuse me, at the end also excuse me is going to come. Because at the end there is one-way traffic. One-way traffic. Two ways are not there. At that time when you cough, you will start telling excuse me. Very importantly, we need to understand that nama is very important. When Draupadi, she held like this. When Dushasana was disrobing her, she held like this. And then she started Shankha Chakra Gada Pane Dvapaka Nilaya Achyuta Govinda Pundarika Ksha Rakshamam Sharanagata. Nothing came. She left one hand. She held another hand. She left one hand. Hat Krishna Svaraka Vasin Vasiyagavanandana Imam Avastham Sampraptam Anatham Kimupekshase Govinda Dvaraka Krishna Gopi Janapriya. Then also nothing came. She left both the hands. She left both the hands. Kauravaihi paribhutam mam kim na janati keshava he natha he ramanatha prajanatha artinashana kauravarnavadnam mam uddhara svajanardhana krishna krishna mahayogin vishvatman vishvabhavana prabannam pahi govinda gurumadhye vasnidati nilotpaladalashama padmadandharurepana pitambara parihara lasatkavustuva Twamadiranto bhutanam Twameva japarajati Vishwatman Vishwajanaka Vishwabhakta Prabho Abdaya Prabannapala Gopala Prajapala Parhatpara Akutinam Chachittinam Pravartananata Smite. At that point in time, the Lord delivered a sari mail. We have email today. He delivered a sari mail from Dwaraka to Hastinapura. And that sari mail, it was infinite in nature. Dushasana was going on pulling it and it was going on getting created. And then at that particular point in time, some of the Vyakhyanakara says, Duryodhana had to not buy any cloth after that. He went on stitching from that cloth itself. So very importantly, the Bhagavat Nama is the essence of Srimad Nārāyaṇeeyam is Bhagavan Nama, and now the Vishaya Vedakshanya, that is, who is Guruvayurappa. The idol which is in Guruvayur today has been worshipped by Sakshat Krishna himself. In the Padmakalpa, it was given to Brahma, and then in the Varahakalpa, when Prishni and Sutapas, They prayed to Brahma. He came and gave that very idol which Sriman Narayana gave to Brahma. And then they prayed to that particular idol. And when the Lord manifested, they said, we want one son like you. 3 times they asked, we want one son like you, we want one son like you. When God does not reply, He wants to give something better than what we ask. Very importantly, it is said in the Srimad Bhägavatha that a devotee would not ask anything from the Lord because He knows what to give us. We ask something from our rational mind, but the Lord is the ultimate irrationality. One of the Nobel laureates who spoke about the rationality of God, he wrote in one of his papers which won the Nobel Prize, God is the ultimate irrationality and nothing can explain its rationality. It is said, Yatho vacho nivartante aprapta manasataha anandam brahmano vidvan. The Taittiriya Upanishad says, we cannot explain Him from the tongue, He cannot be grasped from our mind. So, very importantly, the Lord is an ultimate irrationality He would give. So 3 times Krishna asked, and he said, I do not have anybody like me. I myself will be born as your child. You have asked me thrice, I would come thrice. So first he came as Krishnagarbha. The same Krishna and Sutapas came as Kashyapa and Aditi. The Lord came as Vamana. And the same Kashyapa and Aditi in the Dwapara Yuga came as Devaki and Vasudeva. The Lord manifested as Krishna. And this idol was worshipped by Krishna and Sutapas, Kashyapa and Aditi, Devaki and Vasudeva, and in Dwaraka, Krishna worshipped this idol himself. Just before the end of Dwapara Yuga, he called Uddhava. And he said, Uddhava, this is a treasure which all of us have worshipped. The God himself worships. We worship the Lord to take some traits from Him, some gunas from Him. But why did God worship that idol? Is He gave His traits to that particular idol. And Uddhava worshipped Matraja Pitraja Tatodhavena Sampujitayastu Namo Harete. The great Anantarama Dikshita in Guruvada Prapanchakam, he tells the shloka, Mataja Pitraja Tatodhavena Sampujitayastu Namo Harete. Uddhava prays. And during the Pralaya, after the Dwapara Yuga, the idol gets washed off in waters. Guru, through the air, Vata, the air keeps it in suspension in water. Brihaspati, the Devaguru, holds this particular idol. Both Vayu and Guru go through the Indian region, finding the right place to install this particular idol. At that time, people worship Parshurama, who is immortal, in Kerala. Parshurama comes near the Rudra Tirtha, where Prachetas were given the Rudra Gita. And this is the right place. And then the Shiva there, the Rudra, he says, I will give my place to Narayana. When people said, this is your place, he said, we have to give ourselves to Sriman Narayana. He gives that temple and shifts to the next temple, that is Mammiyur. In Guruvayur, he goes to Mammiyur, and Rudra Tirtha becomes Narayana Saras. Guru and Vayu, they consecrate this idol at the temple there. That is why he is called Guru Vatapuradhisha. And very importantly, in the inner meaning, in the esoteric meaning, we need to understand this body is full of air. And he lives in this Vatapura also, Vatapuranatha. He lives inside us. So very importantly, this particular idol, worshipped by Krishna himself, is Guruvayur there. Mammiyur is where Shiva relocates, and then after that from Janmejaya to all the devotees, they have come and rid their sins and their diseases in this particular temple. Janmejaya was cursed when he did the Sarpayaga. He was cursed with leprosy. He came here, took bath in the Narayana Saras. 4 months he prayed to Guruvayurappan, and then he got rid of this particular Vatharu. So Guruvayurappa, we have seen the Kartru Vailakshanya, the Grantha Vailakshanya, and the Vishaya Vailakshanya. From where the Mahabharata stops, the Srimad Bhägavatha starts, that is the creation of the universe. When we go to Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam, the universe was created and Brahma wanted to create further. So Brahma had to meditate on the Lord. He does tapas for 1,000 years. And he tells Narayana Bhattathiri, Guruvayurappa tells Narayana Bhattathiri, you will have to do the same dhyana which Brahma did. Narayana Bhattathiri says, I am suffering with pain. What dhyana can I do? Parikshit could do it that time, without eating, without drinking even water. What can I do? You will have to bless me. At that point in time, Brahma did the dhyana. He asked, give me bhakti, O Guruvayurappa, and give me the words so that I can start this Nārāyaṇeeyam, because I have been ordained this particular job of starting from the Matsya. So at that point in time, Guruvayurappa says, tell me whom are you going to dedicate this particular grantha. Then at that particular time, Narayana Bhattathiri says, I am going to dedicate this particular, he says, should I dedicate it to my Guru who taught me Vyakarana? Should I dedicate to you who is Guruvayurappa? Then he says, let me dedicate this Nārāyaṇeeyam to this rheumatic arthritis. Because it is because of this rheumatic arthritis I came to your temple. Otherwise, I would have kept my knowledge. I would have gone to all the king's courts, taken my sambhavna, and then I would have been taking titles, taking a lot of shawls like this, and then going on spreading my knowledge and increasing my ego, just because of this rheumatic arthritis which I've got in my legs. You have brought me to this temple. So my first dedication, we give the acknowledgement in our PhD thesis. So the first acknowledgement he gives, He Rogaha Yujameva Sukrudaha. You are the real cause because of which I have written this Narayaniyam. In Prakriya Saravasvam he says, because one thing we need to realize, every calamity is an opportunity for us to rise in life. Every calamity is an opportunity to learn new things. Every calamity or every failure is a stepping stone to success. We need to understand this. So at that particular time, Guruvayurappa sees that this man is really wise, and he says, oh Bhattathiri, start with mind nature. He gives the first word, Sandra, and that is where Narayaniyam started. Sandrananda Vabodhatmakam Anupamitam Kaladesha Vadhivyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamashata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Drishtamatre Punaguru Purusharthatmakam Brahmatattvam Tattavadbhati Sakshat Guru Pavanapure Bhagyam Jananam. He starts with Sandra Ananda Avabodhatmakam. This is the first verse of Sriman Nārayaṇeeyam. The Lord is Ananda Ghanasvarupa. This is taken straight from the Taittiriya Upanishad. Anandam Brahmeti Vedanat. आनन्दात्येव कल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते आनन्देन जातानि जीवन्ति आनन्दं प्रयन्त विषं विशन्ति सैषा भार्गवी वारुणी विद्या परमेभ्योऽहं प्रतिष्ठिता. What is God? What is the Swarupa Nirupaka Dharma of God? That means what is the identity mark of God? The identification of God is Ananda Ghana Swarupa. That means he has no defects. He is full of quality. When we talk of total quality management, when we talk of Kaizen, we talk of Masaki Imai in 1985, who gave the philosophy of Kaizen, which is continuous improvement. In management classes, we are bound to teach this. Masaki Imai coined the word Kaizen. And this particular philosophy of Kaizen was taken from Japanese haikus, Japanese verses. Here, it is said this total quality of management, Kaizen, then there was another branch which came called Six Sigma. 3.14 defects per 1 million instances. That is what is said in Six Sigma. And now the culture is Z, that is zero defect. Zero defect. When we are talking about our Brahma Sutra, it talks about the identification of the God. Akhila Heya Pratyanika Samasta Kalyana Guna Paripurna is the identity of Lord. Akhila Heya is defect. Akhila Heya Pratyanika means he has got zero defects. Samasta Kalyana Guna Paripurna, that means he is full of quality. So what our Brahma Sutra has told in Apaurushaya, Veda Vyāsa has written, is being told today by the Westerners, and we read them in our classrooms. Akhila Heya Pratyanika Samasta Kalyana Guna Paripurna, that is the Lord. That is the Z culture. Sanda Ananda Avabodhatmakam Anupamitam. Bhattathiri asks Guruvayurappa, because he tells Guruvayurappa, oh Guruvayurappa, I will be looking at your face every word. Only if you approve it, I am going to go forward. Every time you have to shake your head. At that particular point in time, I will go forward. Anupamitam. He says Anupamitam. That means there is nobody equal to the Lord. He has nobody before him. He has nobody after him. He is the one. Nasadasim, Nosadasim, Tadanim, Naso. This is what the Rigveda says in the Udakshanti Mantra. Vannum Devam Ulam Uirum Mattum Yadumilla Anne Nan Mohantannodu Devar Uirodu Ulam Padaitan is what the Alvas say. Then Anupamitam Kaladeshavadibhyam Nirmuktam. He is beyond time. He is beyond time. That is what in the Sri Suktam we ask the fire god, Jata Vedo Mahavaha, we tell in the Sri Suktam, Kshutpipasam Alam Jeshtham Alakshmir Nashyam Abudhim Asamruddhimcha Sarvan Nirmudam Ekra. That means where there is no time, Kala, where there is no hunger, where there is no thirst, that is the Vaikuntha. Please give me that region where there is no time, where there is no hunger, where there is no karma, there is no kala. Nachapunaravartate iti is what is told in the Taittiya Upanishad. Kala deshavadibhyam nirmuktam. He cannot be tied through kala. Nirmuktam nityamuktam nigama shatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam. Even the Vedas cannot explain him fully. Aspashtam drishtamatre. What is the drishtamatre? Because we cannot see the Lord. When we plan to go to Guruvayur, when we book our tickets to Guruvayur, when we dress up to come to Melpattur, when we want to come to the Satyanarayana temple, the Lord will be waiting to see us. That is Drishtamatre. We cannot be seeing him with this chakshus, karmic chakshus, panchabhutika chakshus. That is why in the 11th chapter he tells, O Arjuna, you cannot see me with these eyes, but I will give you that special eyes through which you can see my Vishwarupa. So you will not be able to see me. Drishtamatre. Guruvayurappan sees the people. And at that point in time, Drishtamatre, Punaru Purusharthatmakam Brahmatattvam Tattavat Bhati Sakshat Guru Pavanapure Hantabhagyam Jananam. Guru Pavanapure Hantabhagyam Jananam. This is the fortune of people that in this Kali Yuga, the Lord manifested Himself in the sanctum sanctorum of Guruvayur. It is our fortune that the Lord has manifested Himself in the sanctum sanctorum of Melpattur Narãyapa. It is our fortune that out of crores of people who are living, few of us, He has brought us to this particular hall to listen to His glory. That's very important. Evam durlabhya vastunyaphi sulabhataya, the second shloka. Hastalabhye yatanyati tanva vacha diyava sukurtivatajanaha kshudra deva sputeyam yete yadavadvayam tu sthirata manasa vishvapidapatyehi nishyeshatmanam yanam guru pavanpuradhisham yeva ashrayama. He says, when the Lord has manifested Himself for my sake, where else can I go for solace? Yevam ashrayama. This is the only place where I am going to come. So like this, he starts with the Narayayam and he goes with the avatars. In the 12th chapter, he talks about the Varaha Avatar, which is in the 3rd skanda of Srimad Bhägavatha. The first attempt to save the earth was done by Varaha, and the Varaha Avatar is beautifully told that he comes from the nostril of Brahma to save the earth. Why does he come from the nostril of Brahma and he did not come from anywhere else? There is one particular Vyākhyāna or the commentary. He says every breath we will have to be in self-abnegation. Every breath we will have to give ourselves to the entire world. Every breath, Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam, is what Mallinatha says in his commentary on Kumara Sambhava of Kalidasa. Sharira Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam, that means Adhyam Shariram Prathamataha Dharma Sadhanam Khalu. The purpose of this particular body is for Dharma Sadhana. The Sanaka Sanvandanas being born, Kramena Salite, Parivardhamana, Kadapi Dirgaha Sanakadayaste, Bhavad Vilokaya Vikuntalogam, Prapedirem Marutamantiresha. That is told, and very importantly, Varahavatara is told, he comes through the nose because we are basically governed by how many breaths we take in one day or in one life. That is why in English, when the soul goes out of the body, they say he took the last breath. He took the last breath. Varaha comes out of the nose of Brahma. That is, every breath we will have to breathe divinity. 23,000 times the count, it is varying 20 to 23,000 times. A man breathes inhalation, exhalation in one particular day. In the 23,000, in each breath, we have an opportunity to tell the name of Rama 5 times. In one breath, 5 times we will take the name of Rama. 23,000 into 5 is approximately 1 lakh. We have the opportunity to chant the name of Rama 1 lakh times. In one day, let us examine to ourselves how many times we chant the name of the Lord in one particular day. We need to understand. So Varaha manifests from the nose of Brahma. Angushthamatramapurat patita purastad bhuyota kumbi sadrishaha samajrumbhatastvam apretata vidamudiksha bhavantamuchaihi vismeratam Vidhiradati Sahasunu Visvaihi. He comes, he brings out Mother Earth like how we saw, and he says that I am going to protect. Once the Varaha Avatara is done, Then in the 24th and 25th chapters of the Srimad Nārāyaṇeeyam, he speaks about the Bhakta's greatness. The entire Bhagavatam speaks about the Bhagavat Mahima, that is the greatness of the Lord. But in the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavata, Yasya Bhagavata Mahatmam Bhagavat Bhaktivardhanam, he speaks about Prahlada's Mahima, Prahlada Charitram. The Prahlada Charitram is spoken in the 24th, 25th canto of the Srimad Nārāyaṇeeyam. We started at 5:45, we will end at 7:45. We are at 7:15 now. 7:45, we will end this particular lecture. We will look at briefly the Narasimha Avataram, briefly the Rama Avataram, briefly the Krishna Avataram in the last 100th chapter as the Phalashruti, and we will conclude this part. Hiranyakashipu was the bad company from Prahlada in the modern tense. Father wanted to kill the son. We cannot be getting a badder company than that. Because we always say, I cannot do bhakti because people who are living with me do not give me that support to do bhakti. If we have to remember people like Vidura, if we have to remember people like Akrura, Akrura was in the palace of Kamsa, who was hating Krishna. Prahlada was living in the palace of Hiranyakashipu, who was hating Narayana. And everything which was being done was against Narayana, against Krishna, but still we had one Akrura who came and saw the divine form of the Lord. We had one Vidura because in the Bhagavad Gita Bhashya by Swami Ramanuja, he says Krishna Avatara was not for Devaki, was not for Yashoda, was not for Vasudeva, was not for Nandagopa, it was not for Putana, it was not for Shakatasura, it was not for anybody. It was only to show the Vishwarupa to Vidura and Akrura. In the Krishna's Ashtotra also, Vidura Akrura Varadaha Vishwarupa Pradarshaka Satyavat Satyasankalpaha Satyavad Maradojiti. This is the Krishna Ashtotra, 108 names of Krishna. And there, Hiranyakashipu was tormenting Prahlada. He was tormenting. And Prahlada wanted to be as close to the Lord as possible. And at one time, he tries all his attempts to finish off Prahlada. Because he was going on talking about Hari, the greatness of Hari. One day, fed up of Prahlada's torment, he takes him to the pillar and he says, "You are such an evil boy. He Durvinita Mandatman, Kulavela Karadhama, Stabdam Vachasamodhutam, Neshetwadde Makshayam, Kruthasya Yasya Kampante, Trayoloka Saheshwaraha, Tasya Vebhitavan Mudha, Shasanam Kim Balotyadaha. Hey Durvinita, hey Mandatman, you are such a dullard." He tells his son, "People shiver at my name, Kruthasya Yasya Kampante, Trayoloka Saheshwaraha, Tasya Vebhitavan Mudha." There is your Hari. People are all afraid. Your Hari is also afraid. At that particular point in time, Prahlada replies, and Narayana Bhattathiri, Narayayam, he says, "Oh Father, not only to you, to me, and the entire creation, he is the Bala." In the Bhagavad Gita also, he says, "Balam Bhagavatajaham Kamadaga Vivarjita." I am the strength of people who do not have kama and who do not have attachment. People who have got attached to me, I am the strength of them. He says, "Balam me vaikunthaha tavaja jagatam cha pijabalam sayeva trilokyam sakalam iti dhiroyamagadit." Balam me vaikunthaha, he is my strength. I do not know who is your strength, O Father, but I have learned that he is my strength. Not only to me, even to you and this entire world, he is the strength. At that particular point in time, Hiranyakashipu says, "Oh, you brat, you show me where he is. Is he in this pillar? 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 If he is not in this pillar, I am going to sever your head from your body." Yastvaya mandabhagyokto matayo jagadishvaraha kvasau yadisa sarvatra kasmat sthambe nadrishyate. Yastvaya mandabhagyokto kvasau yadisa sarvatra kasmat sthambe nadrishyate. Sthambe nadrishyate. He says, in this pillar I am not able to see. Sthambe nadrishyate. The boy says, Sthambe nadrishyate. Sthambe nadrishyate. Sthambe nadrishyate. Sthambe nadrishyate. There is a cognitive dissonance between a positive perception and a negative perception. Today, writers like Stephen Covey, of course, he has agreed that all my books are taken from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Writers like Stephen Covey, everybody talk about half-filled, half-empty glass of water. Srimad Bhagavath talks about Sthambe nadrishyate, Sthambe nadrishyate. I am seeing him in this pillar only, Sthambe nadrishyate. And there, Hiranyakashipu says, I am not able to see him. Sthambe nadrishyate. I am not at that particular time. He says, if I am going to hit this particular pillar with my fist, and he's having a sword in his hand. If I am not able to see, you are hurrying. I am going to sever your head from the body. Here Narayana Bhattathiri says in the 24th chapter of Narayayam, in the last verse he says, "O Guruvayurappa, as soon as he hit the pillar with his fist, I am not able to continue from here." There was a spota, there was a quake which was unheard of. Are kvasau akhila jagadatma haririti prabhinde smastambam chalita kalavado divisudaha atapaschat vishno naviditum ishospi sadrisha kripatman vishwatman pavanapuravasin Narayayam. Kripatman, this is the last verse of the 24th chapter of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam. There is a quake, there is a sound. That sound was not heard by anyone before. Hiranyakashipu thought that his garjana, his laughter, his roar was the ultimate roar, and there was no roar beyond that, but there was one roar. That one roar passed by Hiranyakashipu, went to the Satyaloka. It made the lotus of Brahma fall, saying, "Oh Brahma, see here, if you do not think before blessing somebody, you see in what form I have to come. I have to come in this ferocious form." It went to Vibhavani, it went to Satyaloka, and then at that point in time, that particular roar from the earth to the heavens, there was one form which was standing in front of Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu had never seen this form. There is one word in Srimad Bhägavatha which says Ninada Adibhishanaha, Ninadoti Bhishanaha, Ninada Adibhishanaha. That particular quake, that particular roar, how it was, Srimad Bhägavatha, what it says in one word, one verse of the 25th canto of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam, Narayana Bhattathiri says, "Sthambe khattayato Hiranyakashipoho karnau samajrimbatan nagurna jagadenda gunda guharo ghorastava bhudravaha shrutva yukila daityaraja hridaye purvam kadapi ashrutam kampakkascha sampapata chigitaha api ambojabhut vishtara ninadoti bhishanaha adibhishanaha ninadoti bhishanaha chapat 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 chapata vispatita dhagad 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 dhagadagada vispatita sputa 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 sputadadhata vispatita hara 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 भीकर भीषण 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 इति अट्टहासस्फुरद्भूतः सहस्रभास्करस्फुरद्प्रभक्षतुर्निरीक्षणम् प्रभक्तगूरकृत्तिरण्यकष्परोरुक्षरम् अजस्रजाण्डकर्परप्रभिन्नरुद्रगर्जरम् उदग्रनिग्रहग्रहोग्र दिग्ग्रहाकृतिं भजे भूखण्डम् वरुणाण्डम् भरवरविरटम् डम्पडम्पोरुडम्बम् डिम् 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 डिडिम्बम् दहमपि विहमैः जम्प जम्पैश्च जम्पैः तुल्यास्तुल्यास्तु तुल्यैः धुम धुम धुमकैः कुङ्कुमाङ्कैः कुमाङ्कैः एतत्ते पूर्णयुक्तम् आहारः करः भदुमां नारसिंहः भूभृद्भुजङ्गम् प्रलयकरवरम् प्रज्वलज्वलमालम् खर्जर्जम् खर्जदुर्जम् खगचकचकचित् खर्जदुर्जर्जयन्तम् भूगावदम् भूगभागम् गगगगगगनम् गद्यमुद्धूर्ध्वयन्तम् गच्छं पुच्छं स्वगच्छं स्वजनजननुतम् भदुमां नारसिंहः नासाग्रम् पीनगण्डम् परबलमथनम् बद्धकेटूरहारम् रौद्रम् दंष्ट्राकराळम् अमितगुणगणम् कोटि सूर्य अग्निनेत्रम् गाम्भीर्यम् पिङ्गलाक्षम् भ्रुकुटितविमुखम् षोडशार्धार्धबाहुम् वन्दे भीमाट्टहासम् रघुवन विजयः भदुमां नारसिंहः जं 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 जकारम् झष झष झषतम् जादुदेशं जकारम् हुं 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 हरितकहासा यन्तिवेवम्बकारम् वं 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 वम्बकारम् वदनदलिततम् वमवक्ष्मं सुवक्ष्मं लं 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 लकारम् लघुवन विजयः भदुमां नारसिंहः सत्यं विधातुं निजभृत्यभाषितुं व्याप्तिं च भूतेषु अखिलेषु चात्मनः अदृश्यत अत्युद्भुतरूपमुद्वहन् स्तम्भे सभायां न मृगं न मानुषं ससत्त्वमेनं परितोऽपि पश्यन् स्तम्भस्य मध्यात् अधुनृज्यानं नायं मृगो नापि नरो विचित्रम् अहो किमेदन् नरसिंहगर्भं मीमांसमानस्तसमुस्थितोग्रतो नृसिंहरूपं तदलं भयानकं प्रतप्त चमीकर चण्डलोचनं स्फुरत्सखा केसर चिन्विताननं वृत्तोत्पुल्ल विशालाक्षं विपक्षक्षय दीक्षितं निनादत्रस्त विश्वाण्डं विष्णुं उग्रं नमाम्यहं மாரிமலமுடைஞ்சில் மன்னிக் கிடந்துறங்கும் சீரிய சிங்கம் அறிவுத்துத்தி விடுத்து வேரிமயிர் பொங்கையப்பாடும் பேருந்துதறி மூறி நிமிர்ந்து முழங்கி புறப்பட்டு போதுமா போலே நீ பூவை பூவண்ணா உன் கோயில் நின்று இங்கனே போந்தருளி கோப்புடைய சிறிய சிங்காசனத்திலிருந்து யாம் வந்த காரியம் ஆராய்ந்து அருளையலோரும் பாவாய் சப 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 ஜபாட் விஸ்பாடித धगत 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 धगदगाल विस्फाटित स्फुट 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 स्फुटदात विस्फाटित हर 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 हा 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 इति अट्टहास स्फुरद्भूतः. From the earth to the heaven there was one form which Hiranyakashipu was seeing. He was spellbound to see Narasimha in front of him. The mane above his head was bringing down the luster of the sun and the moon and all the lustrous stars which were there in the sky. The mane was pulling down all the chariots of the Kinnaras and the Kimpurushas. He said, "You could not protect one bhakta of mine. Why do you want these positions?" Below that particular mane, the large forehead had the Urdhva Kundala in that. Under the forehead, there were two red eyes, which was like molten gold. There was one drop of blood from each of those eyes saying, "You have troubled my devotee, I am not going to leave you." Under those two eyes was one nose, and the breathing of that nose was causing tumultuous vibration to the entire creation. Under that nose there was a cave-like mouth, and the tongue which was coming out was like a sword which was ready to cut the intestines of Hiranyakashipu. Under that mouth was the neck, and the roar which was coming broke all the hills in the vicinity, pushed the sea away from the bay, and he had a beautiful large chest where Lakshmi was dancing with all her grace. On the either side of the chest were lakhs and crores of hands. Each hand had 5 fingers, and each finger had one nail which had the strength of crores of thunderbolts, because he was using this particular nail to tear open the heart of Hiranyakashipu. Under these hands was his beautiful hip, the Pitambara, and Hiranyakashipu at that point in time did not know how to respond to this particular action of Hari. Here, Narayana Bhattathiri tells, O Guruvayurappa, what Hiranyakashipu did not do, I am doing for you. Lifting both his hands, he said, Utsarpadvadi Vrindadhishanahanum Krispastaviyasvaragrivam Pivaradot Shatotkatanakhat Kruram Shudurolvanam Yomollandhiganaghanopamagana Pradvana Nirdharita Spardhalu Pragaram Namami Bhagavan Narasimham Bapuhu. He says, you are the Lord of Prahlada. The Lord of Guruvayurappa says, not only for Prahlada Hiranyakashipu, or for Hiranyakashipu's killing, not only for Prahlada, hey Narayana Bhattathiri, I come for each devotee, because that day Hiranyakashipu hit one pillar, but I am inside everybody. Everybody is like one pillar, and Narasimha as the Antarvyapti stays inside all of us. The Sukta says, Bhrugo Bhimaha, Kucharo Garishtaha, Tasyo Shuk Vikramaneshu. He is there inside all of us as Narasimha. If we realize that day for Hiranyakashipu, one Prahlada called, if we call with the same muktada, with the same devotion as Prahlada, the Lord would come and rid us of all our miseries in life. Bhaktasya Danavashishoho Paripalanaya Trailokyametadakhilam Narasimha Garbham. This is how he gave the Narasimha Avatara and the Prahlad Charitra. In the 34th and 35th cantos of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam, he speaks about the Ramavatara, the Ramayana. Srimad Bhägavatha gives Ramayana in 2 chapters. That is why Narayana Bhattathiri also gives Ramayana in 2 cantos. Girvanihi Archamano Dashamukhanidhanam Koshadesh Shunge Putriya Mishti Mishtva Dadushi Dasharathas Abrate Payasagrim Tadbhuktya Tadpurandrishvapi Trisushu Samam Jatagarbha Sujataha Ramastvam Lakshmanena Swayamatha Bharatenapi Shatrugnanamna. The Lord manifested in 4 forms: Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrughna. Tatascha Dwadashe Mase Chaitre Navamihe Nithau Nakshatre Aditi Daivatye Swachya Samstheshu Panchasu Graheshu Karkate Lagne Vakpada Binduna Saha Prodhyamane Jagannatham Sarvaloka Namaskritam Kausalya Ajanayatravam Sarvalakshana Samyutam Vishnorardham Mahabhagam Putram Vikshvatu Vardhanam Lohitaksham Mahabhagam Raktoshtam Dunduvismanam. Like that he was born. Every word of this Valmiki Ramayana, 18th Sarga of Balakanda, has got one meaning. But shortage of time, Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana and Shatrughna were born, and to show the world how do we network, to show the world how do we build relationships, to show the world how do we follow dharma, what is the meaning of dharma, and how we will have to live as a grihastha, how do we have to live as a raja. the Raja Dharma, the Kshatriya Dharma, the Grihastha Dharma. He shows the end in Ramayana 24,000 shlokas. Valmiki shows that here, very importantly, in this particular canto, he shows that he himself is Rama during the Chudamani Pradhana of Hanuman to Sita. He says, Naurirathnam Tadavute. And in the 37th canto of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam, he starts the Krishna Avatara. 37th to 89th canto of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam talks about Krishna Avatara. When somebody writes a thesis, it's very important to have Upakrama, Upasamhara, Ikhyapatti. These are complex Sanskrit words, but I tell you, how you start a thesis, you should end the thesis in the same theme. The starting, because what people do is they start something, in the middle they go somewhere else, at the end they end somewhere else. The key thing is he starts with Sandrananda Avabodha, in the first shloka. When he starts Krishna Avataram, he says Sandrananda Tano Hare Nanupura. And at the end, the last sentence of Narayanam is Ananda Sandoha Lakshmi. So that Ananda, the Bhagavattva, the Lord, Guruvayurappa, Krishna is there throughout the Narayanam. We need to understand. 37th canto, Sandrananda Tano Hare Nanupura Daivasure Sangare Tvatkritta Apikarma Shesha Vashato Yetena Yata Gatim Tesham Bhutala Janmanam Ditibhuvam Bharena Durardita Bhumiprapa Virin Chimashrita Padam Devaihi Puraihi Adataihi. When Krishna was born, all the Devatas, they were giving floral tributes to Krishna in front of Devaki Vasudeva. The Lord manifested himself as Krishna, and then to Yashoda and Nandagopa, he gave all the experiences what a child can give to its parents. Ananda Rupa Bhagavan Ayite Bhatare Prapte Pradipta Bhavatang Riniriyamani Kanti Prajairi Vagana Gana Mandala Idyam Abhrandvadi Viruche Ilavarishavela. At this point in time, when he manifested in front of Devaki and Yashoda, Devaki and Vasudeva, he manifested himself with Chaturbhuja and with Lakshmi in his heart. Vasudeva Aikshata Vakshasthali Sukhanilina Vilasi Lakshmi Mandaksha Lakshita Kataksha Vimoksha Vedaihi Tanmandirasya Kalakamsa Kritam Alakshmi Unmarjayan Niva Virejitha Vasudeva. Narayana Bhatt says, O Krishna, O Narayana, you have come and born in this jail. You have brought Lakshmi also along with you. Lakshmi came with him to remove all the bad what Kamsa did. Because with her glances, all the Amangalas go and Ashteshwariya come. Yasyam Dishi Viharate Devi Drishtistvadiya Tasyam Ahamahamikam Tanvate Sambhatogaha Yogarambat Varitamanaso Yushmadi Kantyuktam Dharmam Praptam Pratamamahiye Dharayante Dhanayam. Swami Vedanta Deshika says, in the same way, Adishankara Bhagavatpada, he composed Angam Hare Kanakadhala Stotra, Angam Hare Pulaka Bhushanam Ashrayanti, praying to Lakshmi. You can get the Ashteshwarya, what she possesses. One of the most important wealth what Lakshmi can bestow to us is contentment. It's very important. Contentment is one of the most important wealth what Lakshmi can bestow. And after that, he speaks about the Kalinga Nartana. The Kalinga Nartana, Narayana Bhatt sits and says, O Krishna, you were 6-year-old. how can you even dance? That too, the snake's lips. First of all, it is water. And that too on a snake. How are you able to dance? I am at loss of words. How can you dance on the snake? At that point in time, Guruvayurappa, out of his immense compassion towards Narayana Bhattathiri, he shows him that Yamuna Tira. He shows him those children who had fallen unconscious as told in the Bhagavata. All Krishna's sakhas. One had polio, one could not speak properly, one had squint eye, one had a deformed body. All these were Krishna's sakha. Why it has been picturized like this is because he is the Lord of the invalid. God is the Lord of the invalid, and we have defects inside us. We need to understand that. The Lord removes our defects out of his glances. We need to understand his kataksha in the Vaikuntha is not different than his kataksha at the Satyanarayana temple in Vedas. When all the Achyutas here have done the Ashtadik Bandhana, the Lord from the Vaikuntha has descended into this particular form. What gunas he has got in the Vaikuntha, the same gunas he has got in this Satyanarayana Bhattacharya. And very importantly, when he gives his kataksha onto us, we seeing him is difficult, but when he sees us, all our sins are washed away. Why should we come to the temple? We have to come to the temple because to get his karuna kataksha, to get his grace. And once his grace are there, all our sins get washed away, like the river Ganga in Harkipodi, in Haridwar. They get washed away. Vayor Iratyur Gangalar, the Alvar says, Kudashekar Alvar is a king. He goes and stands in Srirangam. He says, when I am standing there, the grace, the mercy, the flow which comes from his eyes, Vayor Iratyur Gangalar, the Valayugambil, Adanaham, Umindashanti, Viyar, Malashan, Vedaname Pol, Main, Mihayangum, Parande, Adan Kidu Kayambu, Malarpirangal, Andamale, Kadiarangat Taramanayil, Padi Holdum, Mayu Nani, Manature Bhakti and Vayara, and Duhalo, Vaitunare. When there is a rush, they keep two bifurcations on each side for us to hold. Kulashekar says, why do they keep that particular support? Because the Karuna Kataksha, the mercy flowing from the eyes of the Lord, washes us away. That is why for support we need to hold that. That is what is the mercy of the Lord. The Lord shows him that Yamuna Tira, and he shows him, look, Bhattacharya, when you put a bottle inside water, because of the air, there is bubble coming. Gubuk, 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 that sound comes. He gives that sound to Bhattacharya. Write the verses in this particular meter. Gubuk, gubuk, kata dik, shubi dik, shubarik, shubila, nava pallava tulya manogna rucha, ridavari nidura taramnya pata, parighurnita ghorata ranghane, adivarta ghorata rampadinam, pratibharayitum kritadir bhagavan, dhritamari tatira ganipatarum, Vishamaruta Shoshita Puranachayam. Every word, every letter of Narayayam has been prompted by Guruvayurappa for Narayana Bhattathiri to write. After that, we need to understand that every Leela of Krishna is a personality development lesson for all of us. We do not have time today, but right from birth or incarnation of Krishna, from the Putana Moksha, Shakatasura Vadha, Trinavarta Vadha, and every aspect till the Rasa Krida, he develops our personality when we understand the esoteric meaning. When we get an opportunity sometime next time, we will look at the Krishna Charitra itself, which talks about this esoteric meaning of personality development. And He says, "Oh Guruvayurappa, your 99 days, 100 cantos is what you have told me to write. Now I need to see your form." He says, "Please show me your form." Krishna says, "I will show you my form, and I will also cure you of this rheumatic arthritis." Avyaktam te swarupam duradikamathamam tattu shuddhaika sattvam vyaktam chapyeta devas putam amrutarasad bhodhi kallolatulyam sarvotkristam abhishtam tadiha gunarase naiva chittam haranti murtim te samshrayeham pavanapurapate Padimam Krishna Rogat Murtim Te Samshrayeham Pavanapurapate. Every chapter he has asked Krishna, Guruvayurappa, to rid him of that rheumatic arthritis. We need to understand that ridding of rheumatic arthritis is not different. Ridding us of the cycle of this birth and death is not different. In the Bhajagovindam, Adi Shankara Bhagavad says, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Chakare Shayanam, Iha Samsare, Bahudustare, Kripaya Pare, Pahimurare, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam. He says this particular cycle of birth and death is absolutely tormenting. The fetus, when it is in the womb of the mother, when the doctor says head is got fixed, that means to say that it is head down and the legs up. In the entire life, a man is going to live like that, struggling for his livelihood. So rid me of that particular experience. Ahala bahula himsa. Narayana Bhattathiri says in Narayayam, ahala bahula himsa samchitarthe kutumbam. He says, yuvati jathara kinnaha. It is difficult there. So rid me of that birth and death cycle and take me into that white path, nachapunara vartate iti, where I do not return back. When he says this, the Lord shows him from head to toe. Agre pashyami tejo nibidatarakala valido bhaniyam Piyusha aplavitoham tadanu tadukare divyakaishoravesham karunyaramharamyam paramasukharasaswada romanchitangaihi avitham naradajyaihi vilasad upanishad sundari Mandalaischa. Hey Guruvayurappa, what you are showing me is absolutely beyond thinkable. You are standing in your form as Krishna, and 1,008 Upanishads have taken a beautiful form of dancers and standing around you. Naradas and the Nityasuris are singing your glory. Ambarisha is singing your divine names, and in the middle, your bewitching form is beyond even my sight. Avitham Naradajyahi Vilasad Upanishad Sundarim Talaischa Nilabham Kunchitagram Ghanam Amalataram Samyatam Charubhangya Ratnottam Sabhiramam Valaitam Udaya Chandrakaihi Pinchajalaihi Mandarasannimitam Tava Prutukavar Bharam Alokayeham Snigdhashvetordvapundramapicha Sulalitam Bhalabalendu Vidhim. O Lord, Nilabham Kunchitagram Ghanam Amalataram, the beautiful peacock feathers on your head, the beautiful forehead, the cheeks which are filled, the smile on your face is taking my heart out of me. Hridyam Purnanukam Anukamparanava Mrudulahari Chanchala Ruvilasai Anila Snigdha Pakshmavali Parilasitam Netrayugmam Vibhote Sandrachayam Vishala Aruna Kamala Dalakaram Amukthataram Karunya Lokalila Shishirita Bhavanam Shipyata Mayanathe. Oh Guruvayappa, I am an orphan. Shipyata Mayanathe. I am an orphan. Guruvayappa replies back from the sanctum sanctum. He says, a person who has sung more than 1,000 verses on me is not an orphan. I am there for you. Puranadasa says, Ninna Lakumi, Nanna Tayi, Ninna Taya Toro, Purandara Vikala, Nane ke Badavano, Nane ke Pradeshi, Srinidhi Hariyanage Niniruvatanaka. Very importantly, he says, Hridyam Purna Anukamparana Mrudulahari. His eyes are always filled with anukampa. Chanchala Bruvilasehi Anila Snigdha Pakshmavali Parilasitam Netrayugmam Vibhote. Cast your glances on this orphan. Guruvayappa says, I am there for you, and holds Narayana Bhattathiri's hands. Uttungollasinasam Harimani Mukura Prolasadgandhavane Vyalolat Karna Pashanchita Makaravandalad Vandvadipram Unmilad Dantapantit Spurad Aruna Karachaya Bimbadarantaha Priti Prasyandi Mandasmita Madhurakaram Bhaktam Udhasadam Me. O Lord, your beautiful lips, they are like the just rising sun. The just rising sun, the inspiration what it gives, in the same way, the words what you speak give the same inspiration. The Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavan Uvacha. Narayayam is Bhagavan Uvacha. Uddhava Gita is Bhagavan Uvacha. The words what the Lord speaks always inspires us. We need to dwell ourselves, immerse ourselves into that body of knowledge which is true knowledge we need to understand. And through those lips, like how you blow the air into the flute, with your two hands, take the flute and blow the flute so that it purifies my ears. Like how you blow the flute, like how the flute has got holes in that openings. I have got 9 openings in my body. Blow into my openings also, so that I deliver melody to the people who come unto me. Bahutpunven ratnojvala valaya vrita Shonapani pravalen nopatam Vedunahim prasuta Nakamayu kanguli Sangasara Kritva Vakrara Vinde Sumadhura Vikasa Graga Udvabhyamani Shabda Brahmamritaitsvam Shishita Bhuvani Sinchame Karnaviti. Very importantly, it is our duty to give nectar to our society. Very importantly, Rama showed this. When Tyagaraja was singing about Rama, he said, Yemani matladidivo Rama, Yavari manasu ye vidhamuga telusukoni yemani matladidivo Rama. Panasa kantha chakkara karage. He says, if you keep a sugar candy in front, even that will melt. Because Rama was born in Chaitra Masa. Narasimha was born in Vaishakha Masa. In the Vasanta Rutu, the Chaitra and Vaishakha Masa are called Madhu Masa and Madhav Masa. Madhuscha Madhavascha Vasantika Rutu. He was born in the Madhu Masa. That is why every action of Rama was like Madhu, was like honey. That is why Sudha Madhurya Bhashana Sudha Kara is what Tyagaraja says in his song. In the same way, we will have to speak, offer all our indriyas, sense organs. In the 61st verse of the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he says, give all your sense organs to me, and I will play through them so that you can give nectar to the society. And then Utsarpadpalibhanga Vichanaham Viswastar Komalam Kantadesham Vakshashrivatsaram Yam Taranatara Samuddipra Harprakaram Nanavarna Prasuna Valikishalayini Vanyamalam Vilolal Volambam Lambamana Urasitavatatha Bhavayehe Ratnamala. From head to toe, every part of the body he starts describing the Lord. Every part of the body he starts getting released from the rheumatic arthritis. When he comes to the feet, O Lord, when you lifted the Mandara mountain, when you kept supported it, you came as one kurma, one tortoise. But to lift me out of this misery, you have manifested yourself with two tortoises, two kurmas. Your legs, when I see them, your pada, each one of your pada resembles one kurma. That is my support. Manjiram Manjunadiriva Padavajanam Shriyaha Iti Alavantam Padagram Pranti Majja Pranatajamano Mandarodhara Kurmam Uttunga Tamrarajan Nakarahimadara Jyotsnayacha Ashridanam Santapadvantahantrim Satimanukalaye Mangala Angulinam. Very importantly, when Akrura went to meet Krishna, he said every name of Krishna is like a moon. Like how moon is synonymous to the knowledge what we can get through our intellect, in the same way, let all the nails of Krishna, all the moons, the 10 moons, remove all the intellect covering or the avidya of Kamsa and remove all the sins, like that Akrura prayed. In the same way, when we recite this shloka, we might have been tormented by people. We might have been troubled by people. We should say, O Lord, even pardon them. Because every situation, they have been instrumental in my development. We need to understand. Instrumental in my development. Samtapat Vantahantrim Tathimanu Khalaye Mangalam Ambulinam. And the penultimate verse of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam, he says, O Narayana, he says, only one thing I crave. The yogis crave for your form in their heart. In the same way, always be in my heart. Yogindranam padandyeshwadika sumaduram mukti bhajam nivaso bhaktanam kama varshadhutarki salayam natha te padamulam nityam chittaschitam me pavana purapate Krishna karunya sindho Ritva nisheshatapan pratishatu paramananda sandoha lakshmi. In this verse, he refers to Krishna as Natha. This sambodhana of Natha was also done by Uttara. When Ashwatthama used the Apandavastra in Mahabharata, when Parikshit was about to be killed, Kamam dahatu mam Natha mame garbholi madhyatam. Natha means bhaktanam vishaye na atha yasya saha Natha. When somebody comes to us for help or for work, we say, can you wait for 5 minutes? I will come and I will see your job. But the Lord would never say wait for 5 minutes. Would never say wait for 1 minute. Would never say wait. He will come immediately. That is why, as Satyanarayana, he is standing. If he is sleeping, it will take some time to sit down. If he is sitting, it will take some time to stand up. If he is standing, as soon as we call Narayana, he will come running and occupy our heart. Yogindranam tvadankesh vadikasu madhuram buddhibhajam vaso bhaktanam kamavarshadhudarvisalayam natha te padamulam. Always your feet has to be in my heart. Nityam, like how Gopikas said, oh Lord, your feet has to be in our heart. Nityam chittasthitham me pavana purapate Krishna khatunya sindho ritva nishesha tapan pradishatu paramananda sandhoha lakshmi. Let all our miseries go away and let us be blessed with prosperity. At the end, the last verse of Sriman Nārāyaṇeeyam, the Lord asks, are you going to put Ankita like Tyagaraja, like Guru Guha? He says, what Ankita can I put? It was written by Narayana on Narayana. Incidentally, my name is Narayana Bhattathiri. He says, incidentally, but otherwise, this is something written by you, for you, by you, for you, and unto you. Ajnatva te mahatvam. O Lord, I do not know your entire glory. I do not know your mahat. Yadiha nigaditam Vishwanatha kshametha. Oh Vishwanatha. He refers to Guru Ayappa as Vishwanatha. Vishwanatha kshametha. Stotram jaita sahasrottamadhal adhikataram. Prasadaya bhujat. This 1000+ shlokas, verses, is not written by me. It is your grace unto me. Vat prasadaya bhujat. Vedãs Narayaniyam. Shruti chujajanusha. Stutyata varnanena. Spitam Leelavatarihi. Idam ihakurutam. Ayurarogya. In the first verse, he had said Anta Bhagyam Jananam. That is, it is the fortune of all of us that Satyanarayana and Guru Ayappa manifested themselves on this earth. And here he says, why it is our fortune? Because Ayuhu Arogya Saukhyam. It is not only life. A life full of misery is not life at all. L-I-F-E is living in full enlightenment. L-I-F-E, living in full enlightenment. Then second one is Arogya. You should have wealth or health. Health, if health is lost, something is lost. That is what the saying. Ayuhu, Arogya. And then third one is Saukhyam. Saukhyam is contentment. Ayuhu, Arogya, Saukhyam. May the Lord bless all of us who have experienced this Narayaniyam with Ayu, Arogya and Saukhya. We are extremely thankful to all of you to have been a part of this experience with Narayaniyam. A very, very big salutations to the Archaka Vrinda of this Melpattur Ramasahita Satyanarayana Swami temple, who have made this occasion possible. A very big thanks to Sri Nagaraj Mettiji for having taken the initiative in arranging this particular discourse, and thank all of you for having shown that Krishna inside you so that 4 words could come out of this particular mouth. We will sing the Narayana Nama and do the Mangala for this particular discourse. Kalyana Rupaya Kalojananam Kalyana Dhatre Karuna Sudabde Kamvadi Divyayudhe Satkaraya Vatalaya Adhisha Namo Namaste Narayana 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 सदा पूर्णमहालयाय स्वतीर्थकाङ्गोपम वारिमग्न निवर्तिता शेष रुजे नमस्ते परिपालयन्तः न्यायेन मार्गेण महिमहेशाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वत्र गोविन्दनाम संकीर्तनं गोविन्द गोविन्द।
Saying thanks is a real small word. And I don't know what to say. It was actually I was crying when he was depicting Narasimha and Prahlad. And thanks to Gayatri for marrying Aditya, Dr. Aditya, so that she could bring her eminent dad, Dr. Srinidhi Parthasarathi, and Rekha. Yeah, please come and I want to introduce Brahmashri Venkateshwara Garu. Yeah, I know him from Livermore Temple, and he's the founder of this temple. Yeah, we want to honor our illustrious Pandit. Yeah.
यक्षष्टमहस्तस्मिन् शुक्रवृत्करे तस्मात् शुक्रस्यायतनेश्वरेः आग्रेणो वृत्करे छन्दागस्येव ततु विवाहेति प्रवस्यसो विवाहमाप्नोति य एवं वेदाथो देवताभ्य एव यज्ञे संविदं ददाति तस्मादिदमन्योऽन्यस्मै ददाति तयोरेतौ वत्सावहोरात्रे पृथिव्याः दिवो रात्रिः ता अविशिष्टौ दंपती एव भवतः तयोरेकौ वत्सौ पुष्पाच नीहारस्य वृत्तस्योष्मा वैद्युतस्य नीहारः भूतावेव प्रतिपद्येते। पुनः आगमनकासिद्धिरस्तु समस्तसन्मङ्गलानि।
It is also wedding anniversary of Dr. Srinidhi and Rekha.
ओम आदिष्टं वक्तस्तं अथो अधिपतिं दिशाम् अस्या पृथिव्या अध्यक्षम् इममिन्द्रवृषभं
Thanks again to all the devotees for attending this discourse. I really again want to thank Brahmashri Venkateshwara Garu for arranging this. Really, yeah. Thank you so much, Shastri Garu.